This is my presentation for the popular detective fiction prompt, and I'm going to be doing it on the movie Taken 3, which is a new movie. Um, Really wasn't all that good, but it did have a lot of elements that I thought applied to our assignment. Even though it's not a detective movie per se, it's more along the lines of body count and action. Liam Neeson stars in this, and I'm going to come from the question of how are the detective and villain portrayed in this, and it actually had some elements that I thought were kind of unique.
Lenny? Lenny? Sir, back away now! I didn't do this. Put your hands up, now!
Okay, that little preview kind of gives you a little bit of a setup as what's going on, and what's kind of going on here is Liam Neeson's ex-wife, Lenore, ends up getting killed. She's murdered, but she's murdered in his apartment, and he finds out and is at the apartment, and the police come in right when he's bending over her dead body, laying on his bed with a bloody knife next to it, and it looks for everything like he did it. He was set up. So they proceed to arrest him, and or try to anyway. He ends up escaping at that moment. But the villain is actually his ex-wife's current husband. Um, but there's a unique twist in there. The detective in this movie is going to be played by Forest Whitaker, who's actually an FBI investigator for this. Now, it turns out that, in my estimation, what I see going on is that the real detective becomes Liam Neeson. The character that he plays is Brian Mills, the ex-husband, and he does this for a number of reasons. One, he sees that he can't do anything if he's arrested, and he wants to find out who killed his ex-wife. Um, and he also doesn't have much faith in the system, so to speak, the way that the police are going to do it. Um, Here's a shot of the crime scene. Lenore is laying on the bed dead, and Forest Whitaker's doing evidence. So, as you saw in the preview, this is where the suspect, Liam Neeson's, going to be arrested. And he's just discovered his ex-wife. This is all a shock to him. He's in a bit of a shock right now. But already he's figuring out what he's going to be able to do and how he's going to be able to do it. So as soon as they put the cuffs on him, he takes them down and makes his escape.
All you have to know is I'm innocent. Give me 2 days, I can prove it. I can find out who did it.
You may very well be innocent, Mr. Mills.
But
That's the court's job to decide. It's not mine.
my job.
It's to bring you in and let the law take its course. That's it.
Good luck.
Now, I like that scene right there because it really kind of gives a little bit of where I'm coming from with this. The suspect, Brian Mills, he's already figured out he has evasive moves that he does based on his knowledge of how the detective, Forrest Whitaker's character, Drexler, is going to work, and he stays one step ahead of him. He's always ahead of him, and that plays in a lot. Plus, he does things that, like in our reading with the Panopticon, there was a question about GPSs, and there's a part of this movie where uh, Mills actually takes and uses the GPS from his dead ex-wife's car to find out where she had been and tracks back her route because she was in an unusual place that he didn't expect her. And then he goes to that place, which is far away, and accesses their security cameras and sees that she gets snatched from there by some people in a van. And that kind of shows his detective ability. He knows what's going on. Well, the police are going to do that too because they know about GPS and everything, but they're, like I said, one step behind, and Mills always kind of stays one step ahead of them. An interesting thing too is that his viewpoint on solving the crime has other elements involved in it, which I'll get into a little bit later. But their main goal, the FBI and the police, at this point is to apprehend their number one suspect, which is Mills. And so they're missing a lot of things. They're not being able to see very much beyond their immediate thing that they want to get done.
Carefully, kid. Something terrible's happened to your mom.
Dad, what's going on?
Don't trust anyone.
Now, Mills' main motivation, one of his main motivations is to protect his daughter, because he knows that the killer is not only going to go, the killer of his wife will also be looking for his daughter, because Liam thinks that they're actually, their deaths were because of him and his past. So he wants to protect his daughter.
What's your first priority here, Inspector?
My job is to bring you in.
My first priority is to protect the only one I have left.
Here again, Mills and Dexter have their conversation, and Forrest Whitaker's character says flat out, my job's to bring you in. And what's your first priority? And Neeson's priority is going to be to find the killer, protect his daughter, and get this person who killed his ex-wife apprehended and taken care of. Just a note on the Panopticon comment I made earlier with the GPS. It's very true that you can see how there are all of these things out there and available that really do kind of keep us under observation, or at least we can be time stamped with the location where we've been and such. And Neeson uses these things to his advantage in this movie.
What do you know? What I know is soon everyone you love will be dead.
Now, this person he's talking to on the phone is the person who actually killed his ex-wife. But it turns out that he's in league, so to speak, and I'll just use that right now, with Stewart, his ex-wife's present husband, in having the murder done. But this person here has plainly stated that he wants to kill all of Neeson's family. So that just gets Mills, Neeson's character Mills, going even more to try to bring this to a conclusion, to get these criminals caught and protect his daughter. Now here, as Mills has started to unravel the truth about the murder of his wife, because he starts figuring it out, we have Stuart Mills, or Stuart St. John, the present husband, on the left here, and turns out that he owes Olg Manilkov, the guy that Mills was talking to on the phone, who's on the right here, he owes him a lot of money. I mean, a lot of money. And it turns out that Stuart, the husband, has been kind of playing both ends against the middle. He knows that this guy Oleg wants Mills from a historic thing that they had going, and so he offers that he could kill Mills and exchange for the money. But what he really wants is, he's got a huge insurance policy. He wants to get the insurance money, so Stuart will get the money, and then he's hoping that that Mills, Brian Mills, will be killed by, or will kill Oleg, and then, of course, Stuart wouldn't have to pay his money that he owes him to him. And all it cost was for him to have his wife murdered.
Yes.
Listen, Stars, let's start to piece this thing together. I need you to step back and allow me to handle this.
My first priority is my daughter.
Now I put this scene in because this is really kind of a climatic scene, and it shows again the point of why I think that this was a detective story with really two detectives, one running from the other, and both of them working the same case. Liam Neeson had figured this out, and Stuart's on that plane, and he's getting ready to take off. Not only take off, but he's also taken Mills's daughter, and so she's on the plane too. And if that plane isn't stopped, then the odds are that he won't find his daughter alive again, and that Stuart will have gotten away with it. At this point in the game, Mills has killed Oleg, and he figures out the whole plot that Stuart was at the heart of all of this at the very beginning because of his debt problem with Oleg. So again, Mills being one step ahead, because in the conversation, Forrest Whitaker's character, the FBI investigator, is right behind him, but there's no way he would have been there in time, nor did he even know anything about it. The detective from the police side and from the side of the FBI, they get all their leads by following Neeson. They haven't really followed any of these trackings or anything. So let's see what I got. Okay, well, this is my citations page, but there's a couple of more things I wanted to say about this, and answered a couple of these questions that we have here. If I can find the page. I see that the detective, and when I'm saying the detective here, I'm using Mills as my example, that they're very similar. I can see that that the villain, Stuart, he knows how to get things done by going outside the law. And that's kind of the same way that Mills operates. Now, of course, Stuart is doing it for, we'll say, an evil, for evil goals, and Mills is doing it because he does transcend the law, so to speak. But he's a good character as long as you're not a bad guy. If you're a bad guy, you got issues. But he's a pretty good character. He loves his family, and he's really devoted to them. He goes over and above on that. This idea of knowledge being power that's brought up in one of our readings this week on the Panopticon. Mills's ability to understand the world, the way it works, how to work around it, that knowledge becomes his power. He figures out what the criminals are going to do because he's been following these kind of people all his life, and he knows how to implement it to catch up to them and to get them caught. And sometimes that means going outside the law, which you see him doing all kinds of things throughout the movie. It's an okay movie. If you want to watch it, you can. I'm sorry for the spoilers, but I had this report to do. He stays ahead of them. He uses unconventional methods to do that. He's always, in fact, he'll use the police. He needs to get access to something that the police have, which is the telephone files on her phone and his phone. And so in order to do that, he gets arrested, and then he takes and one of his electronic devices, he takes over control of the cop car that arrests him, and takes and apprehends